Okay, so I do have some experience with this, wanting to paint bigger. There's an advice that I got, which I didn't quite love, but I feel like it's something to explore. So, if you're used to painting with small brushes, then you might up the size of your brush in a ratio that equals the effect of your current brush on your current size, like that mark, and to create the same effect in that ratio on the large canvas. I found that I don't like that because for me, the experience and comfort of how I paint is more important than the end result. And so my big paintings can be more like many small paintings. But it's a good thing for you to ask and examine, like what's important for you, the act of painting or the result of painting. I don't know if you stand or sit. I often sit when I'm doing a small painting because the more relaxed I am, the easier it is for me to paint, but it's not possible on a 6 foot by 6 foot painting. So those ones for me are more like exercise, like a dance, like you're really moving through the room. I'll also ask why you want to paint bigger. Is it something like from here where you're like, oh, I just have this big desire to paint bigger? Or is it, I think I should paint bigger? Because I've noticed there's certain things I can only paint certain sizes. Like if I try to do a portrait that's like smaller than life size, like a alla prima portrait with likeness, I can't do it. It always grows to a certain size that it wants to be. But I can paint kind of my abstracted figures and interiors small. That's kind of nice to paint small. So I feel out what size things want to be painted. I'd say maybe experiment and think of it like a science experiment. Okay, here's the variables, here's the goal, here's the theory. I'm going to write them down. I'm going to assess how did I feel, what did I think about each one. That way, it kind of feels like you have some control in the uncomfortable part of branching out and growing and changing something in your practice if you're able to remove yourself and observe kind of like a scientist. Also, practically, if it's so much area to cover, squeeze out more paint, get a bigger palette, maybe pre-mix piles if you have big spaces.